I am going to try to remember not to put my head in the middle of my workspace. And I am going to, so my problem is that I cannot see the camera. So we're going to go with what I've got. But this is the tags that I made yesterday. These I made out of a credit card, similar to this one. Not a real credit card, but just a plastic. It's real bendable, easy to cut. Junk mail that I got a credit card offer. So I made these, and as you can see, there's a picture on one side, and I painted the back. The back is painted with black gesso and then a gold metallic over top of it to give it some texture. This is made out of a vintage trading card. And again, the same thing. These are journal charms. This is a vintage picture. And this is my daughter's name. Made on a tag. The tag originally came from Artie Mays. So these turned out really well, and they're, I don't know if you can hear that, but they're clinky. So they're kind of satisfying in that way. However, the edges I found were really hard to cut to get smooth. I also didn't like that everything took, because they're not absorbent, everything took forever to dry. I'm not a patient person. I don't want to wait 3 hours for a coat of varnish to dry. These are made in the same technique, but they are made on the back of some vintage packaging. And I pasted book pages over the top. As you can see, these are lighter because the background was light. The background, I didn't have to do anything to this because the background of the packaging was great. Otherwise, I would have painted them probably with the same technique I did on this one. And I like the way these came out better. The edges turned out better. The drying time was better. The varnish actually, they varnished better. This was one of the round ones I made. And I will put a link in the video for the tutorial I watched on these. And it was, it was a pretty good tutorial. But this one, I don't like, it's really hard to get these round. Let me say that. Other than that, they're fine. But these are the ones in various stages that I did out of the packaging. And I like these a lot better. So, I've got these in various stages. And what I'm going to do, these just need, I've got, probably going to put another coat of varnish on these all the way around. And then put the little bulb hangers on them so that I can hang them. I don't know if I'm going to use these for paper clips or not. But let me start here. So I've got my packaging. I have glued on my book page. I printed out a new, this printable is from, I think it's Sasebo. Sasebo, yes. And she has a web page and a YouTube channel, and I will link that below. This is a free download from her tutorial. I have altered it because, that's what we do. So I'm actually going to use these. And I may use these 2023 ones because I think I want to add that to my journal. But what I'm going to do is cut these out. See what I have room for. So I have altered these. This is a vintage seed package. This is a picture of my mom and dad. This is a picture of a woman that I'm going to use in one of my journals. And this is Santa Claus. So this is just an old vintage picture of Santa Claus. Probably one I took from a card somewhere. Alright, so there's that. I'm going to do these. Also going to do maybe I'll do these. I like these. Leaves are kind of cool. So now I'm just going to take some glue and glue these down. You can use it here easily on the back of the charm. I also thought it would be kind of cool to do these and put them on paper clips and use them like the months, or maybe if you had a, and I don't have any of these prepared, of course, but if you had like Thanksgiving and you wanted to do a Thanksgiving spread, and then you could just mark in your journal where that was. All right, let's see. I'm going to cut out some words and add to these. I have to do this on screen, but I'm not the best at it. I'm putting my head in again. I did a whole video and all you could see through most of the video was the top of my head. I'm like, okay, we're not doing this again. All right, so I'm just going to take some vintage, some Distress Oxide Ranger ink, and just ink the edges of these a little bit. And I think I'm going to put that one there. And then I think I'm going to use Play for the other one. And again, I'm just going to take some oxide, just touch up the edges of this a little bit. I'm going to take, so through trial and error, I did learn that I like it better if I put a coat of varnish on the top of these before I actually cut them, and let that dry, because it seems like it comes out much better. And then let me grab a spongy thing. Alright, so I've got some Liquitex Soluvar varnish. And I've just put it into a little bit in a little cup. I'm just going to put this over top. If you use liquid glue or paste glue, you may want to wait, give this some time to dry. But since we use the Fabri-Tac, it dries almost instantaneously. So we're going to just put this over top. This just gives it, keeps it cleaner, it gives it a little bit more substance, and it helps it to adhere better to the page. I just found that they cut out a lot better. The backs don't fall apart quite as much, and I don't damage them when I'm working with them. So that's what we're going to do. And then I'm going to set that aside to dry. Okay. Put that over there. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside to dry. Through the magic of the internet, I have another set that's over here that was done yesterday. And these are round. And again, I don't like the round ones as much. They're really hard to get round. The edges don't work as well. I've got some letter ones here that are octagonal, but still found pretty much the same thing. Maybe if it was a larger round circle, it would be easier. I'm going to go through. I'm going to cut these right through here. And then I'm going to cut these right through here. Now, in this case, my packaging was not glued on the back in some places, so when I cut them apart, it comes apart. I'm just going to take some Fabri-Tac, and you can use any kind of glue you want. You may just have to vary the drying time. And I'm just going to glue this back on. Because I like this background on them, so you could not do that, but this gives them a little bit more weight, and the drying time will be a little better. They're just have a little bit more substance. Okay, so these are okay. This one's okay. All right, let's see if I can cut these out. So it is a rainy day here. We have had gorgeous spring weather, which is really unusual for Virginia in February. But we have had really gorgeous spring weather all week this week, like upper 70s. So now we're having our rain, and it's like 40, 49 degrees, so it's a little bit colder. All right, so now you can see that this has got edges, and I take a rough fingernail file and I just sand these down, and I give both sides a good rub so that the edges are a little distressed, and the corners from the scissors, because no matter how hard I try, I cannot get my pieces perfectly round. But I just want to make sure that there's no sticky up edges on these, or points. Alright, so there's one. Like I said, I can never get these perfectly round. I've tried. I do much better with the square ones. They're much easier to do. And I'm going to trim off some of this white here. And then I'm going to take my... This is a file for like gel nails. so it's much rougher than a regular. It's probably close to 120 grit sandpaper. So if you have a sanding block, you could use a sanding block. This is just, I always have this here for whatever reason. I use it in various different chores. I've had it for a long time. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. When you cut them, the edges of the cardboard or the packaging get a little bent, and I want them to be smooth this way so that you can't feel the edges, so it feels smooth. That's what I'm looking for there. All right, let me see if these are dry. These are little pictures that I cut out. I do most of the design work on these on the computer. But you could also cut them out and glue them on like I did with the words. That would work perfectly as well. These are just little vintage pictures that I had that I have used in my journal. And I am going to add these charms to paper clips. And possibly some journaling cards, just so they have some additional texture. These are not quick to do. I'm going to say this is one of the things that has taken me pretty much all day to get these done. Between the gluing and the sanding and the varnishing and waiting for them to dry, the drying times on them is pretty hefty. All right, I'm just going to see if I can get these sort of round. Okay, so now I'm going to take an awl. I'm just going to move on to this step. I'm going to take an awl, which is I use this for bookbinding as well. It's a sharp, pointy instrument. If you have a small hole punch, that would work better. I don't happen to have one, or a crocodile. I just have a pointy tool. You could also do this with a needle, but what happens when you do this is you get some, when you do it with the awl, you get some paper pushed up in the back. And again, I'm just going to take my file and file that off. Make sure my pointy tool will go back through. Okay, there you go. That's that one. This is my little girl. You want to put your hole closer to the edge so that if you put a jump ring on it, you can actually not have to have a huge one, which was another learning I had yesterday. I had put some of my rings, my holes in too far, and the jump ring was just really tight when I put it on. Alright, so that's okay. And one last one. I actually like the square ones better, but I didn't have any more of those, so. Alright, so we're just going to, and this is going to file off some of the shiny part of your back, but that's okay. It's going to distress that a little bit. Now I'm going to take my Distressed Oxide ink, and I'm going to go around the edges. just kind of distress the edges a little bit so that they're not, wait, I do both sides because I want to clean up where I have distressed this back. Alright, so there's one. You can use any color distress ink to ink the edges of these that you want, but you can see the difference between what it looks like before and what it looks like after. And the same with the back. You can see where the edges have been distressed. I just want to get that darkened up so it doesn't look like, so it looks like it belongs. Alright, so then we've got those three little things. And again, I am going to take my varnish, and I'm just going to get this in. This is where I get it all over my hands. I use the pointy tool. And I'm just going to varnish over the top. So I actually do both sides of these when I varnish. Once this is dry, I will go back and I actually have some over here. So this is the one that I've gotten to that stage and done the front, and now I'm just going to go over the back. It just protects it a little bit. I also try to get the edges so that it seals the edges in. These are softer than the credit card ones, and they don't clink. I really like that. I'm such a textural person. I like the sound of things and the way things feel. So sometimes I choose to do things based on the clink. You know, I like when you touch things, or when you drop them, or when you move your journal and it rattles. So I'm just going to go over all of these, and then I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm going to go over a few of these, and then I'm going to move them out of the way, and I'll show you how I put the jump rings on. I ordered my jump rings from Amazon. To the side, grab my little basket of jump rings. You can order, Tim Holtz has some of these bulb pens. I ordered mine off Amazon. They're no brand, they're just a basic. They come 1,000 to the pack, so that's just another option. I know some people really like the Tim Holtz brand, and if you do, that's fine. I have a hard time finding them here, and if I'm going to order online, I just as soon save, you know, a couple dollars. And, it's a jump ring. It's not going to be something that needs to be of really high quality. I love Tim Holtz products. I use a lot of them. But since our Michaels here don't carry them anymore, you have to order most of it online. And like I said, if I'm going to order online and wait for it to get here, I just as soon. Okay, so with the jump rings, you take them and you take 2 pliers or 1 plier and really steady hands, which I don't have. And you're going to thread this through the hole. And then once you get it through, you just take this and bend it back. And then make sure it's closed up. Alright, so then you've got your jump ring on, and then you can take your bulb pin or a safety pin or a paper clip and just run that through the bulb pin like that, and you have your card is ready to, your charm is ready to go in your journal. I'm doing one more of those. So when you get your jump rings, they will be closed like this, and sometimes I use one thing, and you just twist it so that it opens that end up. You thread that through, and then this is the part where I can't ever get my finger to do it, so I take this and twist it back. If you've done it right, it should come back together. I never quite get it back together exactly, so I just give it a little squeeze, and then that's hooked on there. So that is the charms. Let me show you some of the ways that you can use them. Actually, let me leave that there. I'm going to go grab a paper clip. This is a really big bent paper clip, but it will kind of give you an idea. You can thread these onto your paper clip like that, and then oh no, don't spill the varnish. All right, if you give me 1 second. Let me move this to one side, because otherwise I'm going to be dropping things in my varnish. Right, I'm going to move these over here to dry. Alright. So now, even though this looks dirty, this is not. This is my journal. And I can take my paper clip. Decorated page. All right, and I can use this either to stick in here, and it would hang out the side like this, or you could do it from the top, and it would hang out the top like so. If you want to use it as a dangle, these are my boho beads that I've made. You can use your bulb clip and just stick this onto. Let me get my fingers to work here. Alright, so I'm just taking this. I've got a bulb clip on my journal that I have my boho beads on. So you can just put that there, and it will hang out as part of your dangles. Another way you could use it would be, I do not have a made up, maybe I do have a made up tag. Okay, let me use this tag. And let me find one with a, okay, so this doesn't really match, but it'll give you an idea. You can put it through as part of the tag. This is probably what I'm going to do with, I have some with my children's names on them, and I'm probably going to use that as, I don't know where they went. But I'm probably going to use that as part of one of their tags that I do for their Christmas presents, or if I do a journal for them, I'll just put them on there, and then see how nice that sounds. So that will be part of the tag. You can use it on a journaling card. You could actually just take it, instead of putting it through the top, you could just poke a hole through the card and hang it off the side or the bottom. Just a variety of ways that you can use them. The bulb pens are really handy because they really do, you can stick them anywhere, just like a little safety pin, and they just hang on. Okay, well, I hope you have enjoyed this. I will put links in the bottom for my inspiration. I appreciate Sasibo for doing her tutorial. I hope this has helped you a little bit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps our channel a lot. And, you know, hang out. I'm going to be doing a lot more decoration in my fortune teller journal. This is my current project. And yeah, so have a great day. I hope your weather is better and that you're outside enjoying it today. And I hope ours is better tomorrow.